Hi crafters, this is Julia, and today I want to show you how you can do really super easy watercolor effects with Stabilo markers. My previous videos, for example, I did this card, shared it on Instagram, and I used the Stabilo markers here and also created the background. And I got a lot of comments on this, and I know that a lot of people are trying these pens now. And I wanted to show you how you can very easily do this. I like the Canson acrylic watercolor paper, especially because it's so thick that I can create a card base out of it. But Tim Holtz watercolor paper or even cheap Jackson watercolor paper will also work. I have a list in my blog post, and it's linked in the video description below. You can see here the card base that I created. It's from the Canson watercolor paper. It's very sturdy, and you can create one layer cards with that paper. Also, I find it quite affordable, at least here in Germany it is. I don't know how it is where you live. And here are the Tim Holtz Bird Crazy stamps, and I'm going to be using this little fellow today, and I'm going to stamp him with archival ink because that will not bleed during watercoloring. I'm going to speed up the process, but I'm going to walk you through. First, I'm putting down quite a bit of color here, and then I'm coming in with a brush that is almost too wet. It should be damp, and I'm smoothing this out. And you can see that you get a very light color wash. Not intense, very light. This is what we want for our first layer. Our first layer of color, it's completely okay if that is very light. You can see that I did the same with the green. I've dried this with my heat tool, so the markers wouldn't peel the paper, and then I've applied yet another layer on the orange and doing the same on the green and pulling the color out with clean water. Now I'm coming in with the red. The red will basically be my shadow, and I'm pulling this again out with my brush, and I'm noticing that I'm having a little bit of trouble pulling this out. You can see a line there. So I'm grabbing an acrylic block, scribbling my marker on the acrylic block and picking it up with the damp brush. And that allows me to create a very smooth gradient from the red into the light orange. And I'm going to do the same on the bottom with the green. And if you find that you have too much pigment on your brush, just brush it off to the side on a scrap piece of paper. Now I wanted to intensify the colors a bit, so I'm scribbling some of the orange and later on the light green onto my acrylic block, picking it up with the brush and spreading it across the bird. That's why I said you can start with a very light color because you can always come back and intensify the colors later. Now for the outline, I'm just tracing around the bird with a blue marker in sections so it doesn't dry and I can pull it out with a damp brush. You can see that I have a very, very light halo of blue around it. And for the ground, I simply scribbled down some brown and then pulled out the color for as long as my brush had water. And since I wanted to intensify it a little, I scribbled again something on my acrylic block and brought it to the paper. And you can see, literally this card took me maybe 10 minutes to make, not longer. I stamped the sentiment from Simon Says Stamp, added some gems with multi-medium matte because that dries clear, and added some glossy accents to the eyes of the bird that will become clear once the glossy accents is dry. You can check out some close-up pictures on my blog. I hope this gave you some better ideas on how to use the Stabilo pens with water. If you like it, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!